Welcome. I'm glad you could all make it tonight. I hope you enjoy the presentation. I'm Preston Ozmar and I'm your presenter. Okay, if you have any questions, please wait until the end of the presentation. Thank you very much. Now first we're going to talk about time and space. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Time, as it appears to us, began at the beginning of our universe. And if you like math or science, you might say t equals 0. But God was already there. In the general theory of relativity, Einstein ties space and time together. Space begins also at t equals 0. Genesis 1:1 also ties time and space together. And God fills space with galaxies and solar systems and planets. The Bible does not state the amount of time that passed during these events. Some statements in the Bible indicate that it could have taken a long time. So how long is a creation day? There were 6 days of creation in Genesis, and on the 7th day God rested. So when describing a day in creation, Genesis 1:8 says, "And the evening and the morning were the second day." Does this mean that the creation days were 24 hours long? Not necessarily. Psalm 90 verse 4 says, "For 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past." Another evidence for long creation days is in Creation Day 6. In Creation Day 6, Genesis 1:24 through 31, the following were created: living creatures, cattle, creeping things, beasts of the earth, and man and woman. Genesis 1:27 says that man and woman were made on day 6, and Genesis 2:19 through 22 give more detail. God brought every beast of the field and every bird in the sky by the man. The man gave names to all the cattle, and to the birds of the sky, and to every beast of the field. There was no suitable helper for Adam, the man, so God caused him to sleep. God took a rib from Adam and made Eve, the woman. God brought the woman to the man. Certainly God could have performed his work in an instant. The questions are, how long did it take Adam to name the animals, and how long did he sleep after the rib was removed? Surely Adam would have needed more than a day to name the animals. So the length of day 6 must be longer than 24 hours. It is reasonable to think that the 6 creation days were indeterminate lengths of time. 2 foundations of the Big Bang Theory: the general theory of relativity by Einstein and the cosmological principle. The cosmological principle just says if you could get far enough away from the universe and look at it, it would look the same everywhere and in every direction. Alexander Friedman used these 2 as foundations to determine the universe started hot and dense. It expanded and continues to expand. This was the Big Bang, and the expanding universe supports the Big Bang. By the way, the flames you saw at the beginning and the opening, that's not what the Big Bang looked like. That was for effect, and I thank my wife Judy for doing that opening. It was great. Thank you, Judy. Okay, so the expanding universe supports the Big Bang Theory, because you would expect things to be, expect the universe to be expanding and everything moving out. Now, how do we understand the expanding universe? Think of a balloon with dots on its surface. As the balloon is inflated, each dot moves further away from the others. So if you were on one of those dots on the surface of the balloon, it would appear that all the other dots are moving away from you, as they would be. You might think you were the center of the universe. But everybody on every dot could think that. So anyway, that's a two-dimensional example, the surface of a balloon. But we can give a three-dimensional example also. Think of raisin bread. As the bread rises, each raisin moves further away from the others. And so evidence for the Big Bang Theory continued. Expansion of the universe was shown by the redshift. The cosmic microwave background and the agreement between the predicted ratios of elements in the universe and actual ratios. And as predicted, there's mostly hydrogen and some helium in the early universe, and that's most of what's in the universe. The Bible and the expanding universe. The Bible speaks of an expanding universe. Isaiah 42:5, God the Lord, He has created the heavens and stretched them out. As He stretches them out, think about the surface of the balloon again. As you inflated it, it's stretched out. So space is being stretched out, just like that. The universe is being stretched. Now redshift. What do we mean by redshift? Light coming from stars and galaxies can be redshifted, and redshift is similar to the Doppler shift for sound. Now if you look up here, this shows the Doppler effect. You can see that the ambulance is moving towards this person. So this person hears the sound going up in pitch because the waves are compressed as the ambulance moves toward him. Once the ambulance is passed, this person for instance, the pitch goes down, and it's because now the waves are being stretched. Now, although these waves shown here are not typical of sound waves are a different type of wave, it does show real well what redshift and blue shift is like. The waves are stretched when a star or galaxy is moving away from you, and they're pushed closer together when it's moving towards you. So this would be blue shift, and this would be red shift. Edwin Hubble found that the light from most, but not all galaxies is redshifted. He found that the faster a galaxy is moving away from us, the more the redshift. He also found that the faster they are moving away, the further away they are. This is Hubble's law. Now, there are exceptions to galactic redshift. The Andromeda galaxy is moving towards us and has a blue shift. Now for a blue shift example. Some amateur radio telescopes can detect red and blue shifts. The dish of an amateur radio telescope is shown next. There's a feed horn and a low noise amplifier mounted on the front of the dish. And here we see there's the feed horn, and the LNA or low noise amplifier is a small box right behind it, and you probably can't even see it. But that's what's there. Okay, now next we'll see a radio sky map, and it's a screenshot of the radio sky, not what you can see with your eyes. And the map was made, the program was made by Radio Eyes, and is written and supplied by radiosky.com. Now here's the map. This first circle here looks like a circle, is actually a slight ellipse, and that is the view of the radio telescope dish. And right in the center of that view at this time is the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Now, you can see this curve with the bright colors, that is the Milky Way galaxy. And this line, the line of yellow dots, shows the horizon. So anything on this side of the line is below the horizon and you can't see it. Anything on this side of the curved line is above the horizon. So if you pointed something at it, you could see it. Again, this is a radio sky, so if I see it, you would see it with your antenna. The brightness and color indicates the intensity of the radio waves coming from that part of the sky. And you can see where it's dark over here, there are no radio waves, or very few, coming from there. Now, in review, the ellipse shows the approximate view of the radio telescope. Inside the view is the center of the Milky Way galaxy, our galaxy. The curve with yellow dots is the horizon. The curve with the brightest areas is the Milky Way. Next, we'll talk about the radio telescope receiver. The receiver is designed to detect neutral hydrogen clouds in our galaxy. And here is a video of the display of the receiver. And we can see here this yellow line is the signal that's being received. Blue means blue shift, red means red shift. In the middle of that we have a 0, which means that whatever object is there, or cloud, it is not moving towards us or away from us. That's called the rest frequency. Okay, and as we're watching this peak, there is a hydrogen cloud that's passing across the dish at this time, and it's about 1.6 divisions blue shifted, and that means it's moving towards us at about 34 kilometers a second. Seems pretty fast, but in space terms that's not really that fast. Okay, in review, a large peak in the waveform shows that a neutral cloud of hydrogen is passing through the view of the dish. If the peak is horizontally centered at 0, the cloud is not moving relative to the Earth. If the peak is to the left of 0, the cloud is redshifted and moving away from the Earth. If the peak is to the right of 0, the cloud is blue shifted and moving towards the Earth. And as we mentioned, that cloud is moving towards the Earth at about 34 kilometers a second. Now, another important topic that supports the Big Bang Theory is called the cosmic microwave background. It's just radio signals received from space. The background is a radio signal that comes from all directions in space. And a couple of guys named Penzias and Wilson discovered it in 1964, and in 1978 they won the Nobel Prize. So, the CMB is energy left over from the Big Bang and was predicted more than 10 years earlier by Gamow, Alpher, and Herman. The energy arrives as radio waves. A NASA image of the CMB is next. Now this is NASA's image that they made based on the waves received. It looks like there's a lot of variation, but it's actually a very small variation in the level of the radio waves. They amplified it to try to detect differences that would be where the galaxies were formed. Okay, now moving on. Just as science and the universe will continue, science says that the universe will continue to expand, the stars will use up their fuel and the universe will be dark and cold. The Bible also says that the universe will end, however it will end differently. 2 Peter 3:10 says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein, shall be burned up. Revelation 6:14. And the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled up. Now, a summary of the Big Bang. The Bible and science agree that the universe had a definite beginning and will have an end. The Bible and science agree that the universe is expanding. Based on the scripture given, the universe could have been created a long time ago, so the Big Bang Theory and the Bible would agree with an old universe and an old earth. Thank you so much. If you have questions or comments, if you're viewing this on Facebook, please respond with your questions or comments. If you prefer, email your questions or comments to presozm@mail.regent.edu. Thank you so much. And just to mention, the materials used in this presentation are in the public domain or are used by permission. Additional sources are listed next. Where applicable, the rights to this presentation are reserved by Preston Ozmar and Regent University. And here's a list of sources, but you can read those if you like. And I want to do some credits here. I wrote and produced it and presented it. Photography was by me and my wife Judy. Video editing was by Judy. Thank you so much. And I hope to hear your questions, get questions, comments, criticisms, whatever you want to send. Be happy to receive it, and I'll respond to you. Thank you so much.